We'll now focus on another Da Vinci Science Center program that aims to address the critical shortage of scientists and engineers entering the workforce. For more, here's Focus reporter Grover Silcox.
Thanks, Laura. Women serve as a vast resource, but they are underrepresented in the sciences. Historically, society has sent girls the message that science and math are for boys. Research shows that perception has discouraged women from pursuing careers in the STEM fields. The Da Vinci Science Center and its partners in the Lehigh Valley are one of many organizations now encouraging girls to pursue careers in science and engineering. The Da Vinci Science Center wants girls to know that they can pursue an exciting, successful, and rewarding career in science, technology, engineering, and math, the STEM fields, the same way boys can.
So welcome, you guys. This session we're going to talk about DNA. So I was here doing a DNA workshop with the Da Vinci Science Center, promoting women in science, trying to get the students engaged in science and really thinking about science for their future careers. I'm a biology professor. I teach molecular genetics, and basically that means DNA biology. So I study DNA. What does DNA do? Who can tell me what DNA does?
The Da Vinci Science Center invited female scientists and professors to lead hands-on science activities as part of the center's WISE, Women in Science and Engineering initiative. In this classroom, Dr. Joy Karnas, chair of the biology department at Cedar Crest College, teaches 6th graders how to extract their own DNA with Gatorade and some basic lab equipment.
We're going to come around with little cups. We're going to swish for a minute and spit it back into the cup. Ready, set, go! We're promoting women in science because women still do not hold as many executive positions as men do, especially in science. Everybody very gently, upside down, right side up. We're not shaking, we're just mixing very gently. Oftentimes women are told that math is for boys.
According to studies cited on the American Association of University Women website, women represent less than a quarter of the workforce in STEM fields.
We really think it's important that women understand that they can be scientists.
Research shows that girls often veer away from STEM fields because of the perception that STEM fields are for males only. It's that perception that the Da Vinci Science Center and its partners are trying to change.
I found it interesting because I never did my DNA before.
The instructor was amazing. I got to understand everything she was saying.
While leading the kids through the process, Dr. Karnas serves as a role model who demonstrates that women can achieve successful careers in science.
I enjoy doing these outreach activities because you get to see this whole age spectrum. You see the younger kids who are interested in science and try to get them thinking about what could you do when you get to be a college student.
Other students learned about fingerprinting from Cedar Crest College forensic science majors.
We're going to take these invisible ink pads here. We're going to rub our fingers on it, and then we're going to put our finger in the appropriate box.
In another room at the center, Dr. Audrey Ettinger, a neuroscientist from Cedar Crest College, showed the kids what real brains look like.
And the kids are getting a chance to put on gloves and actually touch a real brain, which is very exciting for them. It's really important that girls enjoy science as much as boys, and that everybody gets a chance to have the fun that I do in working in this field.
We always are looking for the most innovative solution.
The Da Vinci Science Center followed up the workshops 2 days later with a public panel discussion in which 6 highly successful female executives in STEM fields from aerospace engineering to chemistry spoke about their careers and answered questions from audience members.
I really felt that what I learned in engineering school was how to solve problems. That, you know, the problem solving can take on a wide variety of different areas and aspects and difficulty, but what engineering school teaches you is a very methodical, disciplined approach to solving problems. And that
one of the panelists, Helen Coleman, an engineer by profession, retired as the first female chairman and CEO of the DuPont company.
The world has a lot of issues today, and engineering and science can very often help solve those problems. So we need more young people going into the sciences and engineering. We need more women going into the sciences and engineering.
The world urgently needs more scientists and engineers to solve complex problems, from tackling climate change to curing cancer. The Da Vinci Center and its partners believe that bright young women can fill that need, and encouraging them in that direction is the wise thing to do. For Focus, I'm Grover Silcox reporting.
Thank you, Grover. That panel also included women leaders from IBM, the NASA Goddard Space Flight Center, and Merck Research Laboratories. Studies show that women in STEM fields like these make 33% more than women working in other industries. To learn more about the issue, the head of the Da Vinci Science Center recently joined me in the studio. Our guest now is a leader in the field of science and technology education. Lynn Ericsson is the Executive Director and CEO of the Da Vinci Science Center in Allentown. Welcome to Focus.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
When we look at statistics from the National Science Foundation, they report that women remain underrepresented in fields of science and engineering, yet we are doing better, and it's to a lesser extent than they were in the past. What is driving lower rates in women in these fields?
I think there are a number of factors. I mean, we know, for example, women make up 48% of the workforce, but they only make up 24% of the STEM workforce. But it varies by field. So in the medical areas, the biology areas, there's much more equity. But in the physical sciences, and especially in computer science and engineering, there's not. And in fact, computer science, over the last couple of decades, the percentage of women has gone down, and engineering has been flat for like 30 years. So that begs the question about, you know, what can we be doing and what's causing, as you suggest, what's causing some of that? And I think it's a variety of different things. I think that girls are socialized from a young age not to pursue those particular areas. And also, it's, you know, there's two parts of it. So one part of it is that and how we encourage girls to pursue the math and science areas. And then I think the other part has to do with how, once they pursue those areas, how we support them, whether it be in college or in jobs afterwards. We know, and this is all research-based, there's a wonderful study out recently, last spring, by the American Association of University Women called Changing the Equation, and it talks about a lot of the research around these issues. And I think there are a number of factors. I think that girls sometimes perceive that the field is, you know, boring, you're isolated, you're in a lab by yourself all the time, there's not a lot of opportunity for social interaction. They sometimes perceive that girls want to contribute to service. They want to give back to the world and make a difference in the world. And again, they see that as very isolated and not making a difference in the world, where it's exactly the opposite. You know, the truth is the opportunities you have as a scientist or engineer, whether it's designing new products that might influence energy in a lesser developed country or in our own country, or addressing climate change, or developing a cure for the Zika virus, right, or the cancer, there's enormous opportunities to making the world a better place. Engineering, developing new materials that can be used and sensing devices that might be used on cars. We hear about sensing devices on cars now. We're going to have driverless cars. There's so many opportunities to really give back and make a difference. And we know from research that girls are especially interested in making a difference. I'm not saying that guys aren't, but girls are especially interested in making a difference. And the engineering and sciences offer a lot of those opportunities. So one thing is about the field and understanding the field and what opportunities it offers. I think one area is about biases. So unfortunately, there are biases just in general as girls are growing up. Their teachers, as they go into colleges, even once they're employed, there are stereotypes and biases that men are more suitable for those fields.
Still today in 2016?
Still today. Even there are studies that show, for example, even on a college campus, you think of college campuses as more liberal. If you have two faculty, a male and a female, equally qualified, applying for an engineering position, the male's going to get selected. So, and it surprises me. I'm surprised too. I'm thinking we were talking about this when I was younger, much younger, and we still haven't, you know, kind of addressed some of these biases. I think girls will get into a science field, and a couple of the panelists gave examples of where they had failed a calculus class or, you know, just really struggled their freshman year in college. And very often what happens is they just say, this isn't for me, I'm not going to do it. And guys are less apt to do that. So we have to provide the support because in two examples, two women specifically gave examples of they persevered, they got through it. In some cases, they had to take the class a few times, or their high school experience maybe wasn't as strong as their peers when they got into college. You know, they weren't doing well, but they persevered, and there was very often someone there, you know, kind of encouraging them.
So when we look at causes, now what can we do to look at solutions? What is being done both regionally and at the university levels to address these gaps in the workforce?
Well, I think there are increasing numbers of programs, both locally and nationally, to focus on girls in STEM. Certainly you hear in the news all the time, the big companies, the Google and Amazon, you know, the percentage of women they have is very small, and they are being really encouraged to hire more women, but they've got to have a bigger, you know, kind of pool. So there are a number of initiatives at science centers, like the Vinci Science Center. In the Girl Scouts has a big, you know, STEM initiative. The YWCA, you know, has a Tech Girls program. So there are a number of initiatives with organizations that are committed to developing women that are really encouraging, you know, that STEM focus. I would say that mentoring is a really big part of it, and role models are a really big part of it. And that's what was happening at this Women in Science and Engineering forum we had. We had dinner beforehand, and you got to spend the evening, if you were a high school student or a college student, with college faculty, local STEM professionals from companies that are working in engineering, or they're working in research, or they're working at the local hospital, and they're doctors or whatever field they might be in. And we got to spend an hour and a half just talking. You know, how did you, the kids asking, well, what made you decide to go into that? Was it hard? What do you do now in your job? How do you balance? How's the work-life balance? Did you have to give up things? So having the opportunity for those conversations so that women can support one another through the pipeline, but also just in general support one another. So I think that kind of activity. So that was dinner, and then after dinner we had this panel, which was open to all those folks that were at dinner, plus other folks. There were a few men in the audience, but not too many. But it was mostly female professionals and high school and college students and faculty. And we heard from these panelists, these distinguished leaders at the top of their fields, gave firsthand stories, real personal stories, which is what we all need to hear about their experience. How did they get there? What was hard? And I think we need those conversations, and we need those role models.
Lynn Ericsson, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.